All right, it's Thursday, February 29th. This is kind of a morning SPY update about 2 hours into trading. Just thought I'd go over what's developing here in the market and, some of the other opportunities that presented themselves. So first of all, in the SPY, we had the gap up. I kind of shot a morning video describing how I have two targets up here in the bigger picture, the green lines. It reached its first target. I actually had some call options that I exited up there just to see what developed here is that we had the inside bar on bar 2 and then the breakdown on bar 3. So technically, in terms of intraday structure, this was kind of a sell here to take out that first bar low and then see how much lower it might want to go, even though you're way above the midpoint of the prior day and kind of still biased to the upside. So it's something you don't have to take, but it's the only thing to consider. There was no immediate follow through on the first 15-minute bar of the upside after the gap up. And a lot of times after a gap up, you expect a little red to green move. Then you see a pretty big red bar. So that's going to be tough to get, a strong red to green immediately to take out those highs again after such a big push down. You had a little inside green bar here that didn't follow through, and now we're just pausing inside. So I don't really see the red to green yet to start working towards those highs. That would be the only buy signal I'd look for on the day. If you were real aggressive and sold it and kind of anticipated some kind of failure taking place, you're still holding, but you can see here not getting momentum to the downside because the trend is still up. You still have the 2-up day, even though it's red at the moment, that still has a higher target with 2 days to go in the week up here. So I'm still waiting. I could see maybe taking out this low again and getting then a strong green bar. Maybe you can give that a shot, but this big red bar is going to be tricky, to get through up to those highs. It might happen, but you gotta watch 15-minute price action closely. If we can get a strong green bar that looks like it's starting to take out this area, get back into that first bar's range and get back to those highs. So in other words, on the SPY today, in the bigger, there's really nothing to do other than, it's kind of an up gap and the market was opening up higher. So that's where I started looking for individual stocks and various, opportunities. I discussed how I bought Amazon and Google. Amazon ended up being a gain here that kind of went up. I scaled out and now it's still positive. Google was a break-even trade where I scaled out and then you have to break even when it gets to the first part of this, for halfway point of the first bar, and that's moving a little lower, although, it's still a 2-up day, but, that kind of failed to move higher. So Amazon's holding up and heading higher, and Google, there's gains there, and this is a break even. Once I saw the market kind of pausing overall in here, I wanted to look for some negative stocks, and the one I found was Coinbase. I discussed that on a video, how I bought some put options in here, and they moved up nicely, and I took some gains down into the new lows in here. So, that's kind of what I've done on the day. The indexes themselves, it's, after a gap up and you don't see, it's kind of tricky to know whether to trade these outright. But for now, the intraday structures to the downside. Looks like maybe a secondary push down right here. We'll see what that brings us. Like I said, the only thing you could have done was try a very aggressive short trade and just to see what kind of failure might unfold, to see if you start working down to the midpoint of that bar from yesterday. But that was kind of too high up there to really expect that. So if anything, you're just watching this market, patiently waiting for maybe some kind of green to develop to the upside, but kind of judging this big red bar as kind of a roadblock towards something that might really get back to the highs. But if we take out these lows here and get a big green reversal, I would give it a shot back, see if we get that first bar high. And, again, I still have that weekly target up there. So that's kind of my morning update. There are a couple of, stocks that offered some good opportunities. The buys are still to the upside, but it's really, intraday structure hasn't really unfolded right out of the gates to go long. If anything, it's getting a little pullback into this gap area to start, and maybe this is the move right here, taking out liquidity for red to green, but we'll see if that unfolds. So we'll see what happens by the end of the day. I'm looking around, there's a lot of other things that are just tricky. I don't see many other opportunities out there. Even stocks like NVIDIA, they kind of pause, heading a little lower. Apple immediately failed and went lower. Some other stocks, I'm trying to look around. Nah, nothing, that's why it's kind of a tough day. But, there were a couple of good trades out there. Amazon was a gain. Coinbase had a gain. And the SPY, maybe it'll be an afternoon trade to head back up here. We'll find out. But the only way it fails, I said this in the morning video, is to really build up some momentum and take out the midpoint of this bar. Other than that, we'll see. If this ends up kind of a red shooter bar by the, two up red failure bar, then maybe by the end of the week, we do expect lower. We never reach our weekly target, which is that green high, and we end up with an inside week to the downside, So it's possible that this is a failure unfolding and we're going to get a 2 down into tomorrow. But let's just see how this bar closes. So for now, taking out liquidity on that little push down, I could see this turning into a red to green, but we'll have to just kind of judge it bar by bar.